Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Hello, welcome to Love Your Body, Love Your Life. My name is Jenna. I'm the host of today's show. I'm also the author of the book titled Love Your Body, Love Your Life, 52 Tips That Will Radically Change Your Health. You can find my book on Amazon and on barnesandnoble.com. And welcome to today's show, you guys. Welcome to 2026, my first show of the year. And so I thought we would start off or kick off the show with talking about being good enough for what our hearts truly desire, what we really want to create this year. So I haven't been live, obviously, since prior to Christmas. So first off, I want to say to everyone, I hope you had a good holiday. How was your holidays? And also I want to open up to chat and any questions as always. I love to hear comments and questions. But I had a really amazing holiday this year, like really good. I was able to spend quality time. Hi, Bonnie. Happy New Year. Welcome back. I hope you're well. I was able to spend really good quality time with my family. It was pouring rain here where I live in Orange County, California. So at first I thought I was going to have to maybe miss the family gathering, but I didn't. I was able to get over to my dad's house, which is about an hour drive from where I live. And my sister happened to be in the area on Christmas Eve, and she actually picked me up. Her and her husband picked me up and drove me over to my dad's, and I was able to spend 2 nights there. And it was just really good time, really good family quality time. And the best part of my holiday was that I got to meet and spend time with 2 of my new baby nieces who are both under 1. So they're super adorable. They're loving. They're honest. They are precious. They're brand new, and they are unconditional. Okay, right, like a newborn baby. They're unconditional. They're true to who they are. They are honest with their emotions because they can't talk. So they have to cry when they want something, or they smile when they're happy. And they're just so honest. And a newborn baby, you guys, can you just relate to how lovable they are? So Francis, good to be in this new year. Yes, Francis, thank you. Welcome to the show. So I wanted to start off the show by sharing that piece of my holiday with you. And I also wanted to talk about my new baby nieces, because what I want to talk about on this show is partially that, or it's going to tie into the being good enough story, is that all the qualities of what I just said about my baby nieces, about basically them being unconditional in their love and unconditional love. They're just a bundle of unconditionality, right? We are still that. We are still that. And what happens is we forget, because once we're out of the baby stage, we are obviously very dependent on the parents, right? Our caregivers for survival, really, right? They feed us, they clothe us, they are supposed to love us unconditionally. And they also basically tell us how to live our life, right? They parent us. So what I want to say is, sometimes, and pretty much kind of all the time, we forget that we're this unconditional love because most of us don't come from perfect families, right? Don't come from perfect childhood experiences. So we forget who we truly are on the inside, which is this unconditional love that we were when we were babies. But it gets covered up by other people's emotions, by not being seen and heard like we should, by by circumstances of life, and we start to protect and we start to guard our heart. And I feel like that is one of the main reasons why we forget that we are good enough, and we create these stories that we're not good enough for whatever circumstance. We just forget. um the the spiritual work that I've been doing for over 20 years, the doctor that has founded this work, her name's Dr. Sue Morter, she calls it the splat. That we get here, we land in these family dynamics, and we splat, and our energy is dispersed all over the place, right? Our energies just goes all over the place. We don't know, we lose who we are, we forget who we are, we forget our life and our soul purpose that we're really here to live out, which is supposed to be fun, it's supposed to be enjoyable, it's supposed to be on purpose, it's supposed to be in alignment with who we are. So yeah, so we're going to get into this conversation of being good enough. And I wanted to start off the show like that because that is going to be baseline. That's going to be the goal for baseline, you guys, is to get back to remembering the truth of who you are, that unconditional love in your heart before life and before family dynamics and before any kind of childhood wounds took over. Okay. So, yeah. So I wanted to, also tell you that, so basically I start off my book with this story and I wanted to share it with you. So I wrote, before I was introduced to a holistic lifestyle, I was constantly in search of happiness, which I thought existed outside of myself. I tried every diet out there, exercised out of anxiety, and betrayed myself by entering into bad relationships. I have spent the last 10 years of my life recreating myself from the inside out, letting go of unhealthy patterns that no longer served me, discovering my talents and gifts, and most importantly, establishing an intimate relationship with myself, which includes self-care. Now I know that through feeding my body healthy foods, nourishing it through positive thoughts, and staying present, life becomes much easier. And then I go into saying that I want to share some tips. And obviously my book has 52 tips. So one tip for each week for like a whole year. So again, you guys can find my book on Amazon and on barnesandnoble.com. I go into saying, if you're struggling with weight, body image, or hopelessness in your life, I've been there. And it's physically and emotionally draining. It's difficult to keep up with life by putting on a smile when you really want to curl up in a ball and shut the world out. So, I end this preface by saying you deserve to feel great in your body and in your life, and it just takes small, gradual steps. So, I wanted to share that because I feel like I have done a lot of inner work around feeling good enough. And my pain point up until this point has been relationships with men. I have picked the wrong men to be in romantic relationship with. And as a child, I picked up the messaging that I wasn't good enough. Like I just read, I was always in search of something else that existed outside of myself. So my big pain point was I was always picking wounded men. I always felt like if, and this was all unconscious, you guys, right? Like this wasn't like consciously I was telling myself like, oh, I'm going to go pick a bad person to be in relationship with so I can F up my life now. No, that wasn't conscious on my part. It was an unconscious belief that I had been running in the back of my mind because I picked up during childhood that I was supposed to be in charge of other people's emotions, that if the people around me weren't happy or if I said something to hurt their feelings, that that was bad, that I was responsible for other people's happiness, for their emotions, for them to be happy in their life. So what happened is I shut down what what Jenna wanted. I shut down what I wanted. I shut down my own emotions. And that caused a lot of chaos in my life because I was disconnected from my body, really. I was disconnected from what I truly wanted and what my heart desired and what I felt. I was even like disconnected from what I was feeling. Like I couldn't even like pinpoint like, oh, I remember I had when I was going through a lot of my healing journey, when I was healing my inner child, my mentor at the time, she pointed out to me that I had a lot of anger. And I was like, anger? I'm like, I don't feel angry. Like I just I shoved it all down is what I did. I shoved it down and I just kept moving on through life and I was attracting different situations in my life because I was operating from a different frequency. I was operating from this shoved down anger. I was operating from this in search of unconditional love that I forgot that I had already inside of me. Like how I started the show, like how my baby nieces are, right? They're unconditional. That never goes away. It never goes away. So here I was, in my 20s and, doing my thing. And I didn't really find this inner work till I was 20. Well, let's see, 20. No, I'm sorry. I was like 28, 29. So thank God I found it relatively young. But up until that point, I was operating under a lot of survival mechanisms, under other guises, right? I was always in search of that love. And so, yeah. So where was I going with this? So that's always been kind of my pain point, you guys. I've always attracted this guy that was wounded and unconsciously I thought that, well, maybe I could fix them, or if I got this one guy to like love me, then I was worthy of love, kind of thing. And it's crazy. Like it's so crazy. Like I opened up last year a lot about my ex-husband and the divorce and all of that. And so I'll share a personal story with you guys. So now, I've been on this healing journey for, like I said, years. And, now I have a totally different perspective of why these relationships have been in my life. And now I actually can sit in a place and be thankful for the relationships. I can sit there and thank you. Like I can say, thank you so much, because what I've learned is that whatever relationship you're in, it's all good, right? It's all good. I don't want you guys to freak out and think, "Oh my gosh, I'm in a bad relationship, so things are not going to go my way." No. There's always love there on the baseline of what you're learning. And what it is you're learning to come back to you. You're learning to come back to your heart and your voice. And every relationship has a pertinent lesson in it. And so recently, my ex-husband is still trying to like get in my crawl, right? He's still like trying to like reach out, and like he reached out to one of my family members, and he like sent this BS like AI situation, like stating like, I don't know, just like it was just such BS, you guys. I saw right through it. Like his text message to a family member was totally AI written, like chat GBT, right? And so he's like still trying to like get to me in some way. Um and so then he reached out, via text, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I haven't responded. So you would think that a healthy person would get the message and be like, hey, we've been divorced for 7 years. Let me move on. But this situation is just different because it's a very controlling, manipulating type of situation, and it's very insidious. So the control and the manipulation is very insidious. It's very sly. He comes out off very nice, but underneath that, it's control and manipulation. So I'm getting to this part. So recently, I obviously did not respond to the text messages over the holidays. I was inundated with this unconditional love from my baby nieces, and I didn't want to leave them. And just in this in the bubble of my family, and it just felt really good. I really needed that nourishment over the holidays. And so I didn't want anything to like, knock it off or anything. I just was like, why am I going to answer him? It's been 7 years. I don't want the relationship anymore. There's no point. So recently, I go to my yoga class and I run into him. And, it's such it's such control and manipulation on his part. And my eyes are wide open now, you guys. I see everything. I feel everything. But I wanted to share that he no longer gets a rise out of me. I'm no longer affected. It's like I'm completely unbothered. Like he even like scooted. I go in the back of the yoga class, and it was a very like small class. There wasn't a lot of people in the class. It was like brand new year, right? Everybody was still probably on holiday. And I go in the back, and he's normally in the front whenever I run into him. And he pulls his mat to the back, and he's like really trying to get a rise out of me. And I was so proud of myself. I'm like, I'm so unbothered. And I was actually saying to myself in the middle of class, like, thank you to him. Like, thank you. Like, I was just talking to him, obviously not verbally, but like telepathically talking to him, saying, thank you. Thank you so much. Because I now sit in a different perspective. I now see why this person came in my life. Like, he really, really, the pain that this person caused me was a lot. But I was able to turn that pain into power. I was able to really transmute it in my healing and really find my voice within the pain. Find my voice. And that was one thing that he really tried to suppress in me, was my voice. He didn't like the fact that when I was starting to sing, he didn't like the fact when I was starting to do this podcast. And that was like 2019 when I first started this podcast, you guys. I have several shows on YouTube. You can go to my YouTube channel at Jenna Lobos and check them out. I've been doing this since 2019, like I said, and I was still married at the time. And this guy just didn't like it. He tried to really suppress me. And so here I am, 2026, and I am grateful. I'm grateful that I learned a lot of lessons with him within that relationship. And I'm grateful that I had my healing work to lean back on, to basically, because, when you leave a relationship like that, you feel like you're free falling because you don't have a lot of people in your life. these kind of relationships, they tend to isolate you. And so it was a big kind of leap of faith that I needed to take. And so, anyways, so yeah, I went on a tangent, but Lance, let's see. We always forget to hear the inner abilities and we forget how to use them. Yes, we do. Thank you, Lance. Yeah. So, with that said, Lance, I want to talk about the opposite of what it feels like to feel the opposite of lack, right? Because that's what we're talking about. If you guys are feeling not good enough to go for your heart's desires, you're feeling lack, you're feeling, like you don't have what it takes to go after your goals. So I want to talk about what it feels like to have the opposite of not enough or the opposite of lacking. So that would feel fulfilled, like you're filled up, fulfillment. It would be no judgment of yourself, which is huge. Like, I think this goes back to what Lance said. We always forget to hear the inner abilities. So maybe, Lance, like, take inventory on where maybe you're judging yourself, or for anybody that's listening, it could be little things, you guys, minute things during the day. When you look in the mirror, are you nitpicking yourself? Are you judging yourself? I know for me, that's been my life's work, because as a kid, like I said, I was taught to be responsible for other people's emotions, but I was also, um, somebody made me feel like second guessing myself all the time and nitpicking. There were a lot of nitpicking at my looks and what I look like, and just little minor things, right? They're very, again, I'm going to use the word insidious, but they add up. They add up to, like, your sense of self, your sense of your power source, your your I'm rubbing my belly because it's like your solar plex area. It's like that area of your body where if you got punched, you get punched in the gut. Like, that's the area of your body that gets affected when you're being picked on, or like you have a parent that is always talking down to you. That makes you feel small. It makes you feel small, and it gives you this belief that you're not good enough, that you're too small, that you can't go after your goals and your dreams. So I hope this is resonating with you guys. Like, if any of you guys have this belief or have had these thoughts like, oh no, I can't do that. Oh no, I better not do that. Oh, but I better not say that. Like this walking on eggshells type of thing, right? So anyways, going back to the judgment, just watch yourself during the day and really, really, like, check yourself and make sure you're not judging yourself for whatever comes up. Maybe put a sticky note up on your mirror saying, I won't judge myself today, or no judgment, or whatever it is. But just watch your thoughts during the day, watch your dialogue on how you are talking to yourself. That self-love, again, getting back to that unconditionality within yourself that's already there, like an infant. It doesn't go anywhere. We're whole. We're whole and complete. It doesn't go anywhere. It just gets covered up by life and by other people. So our job here is to remember who we are, to remember our wholeness, to remember our unconditional love. So again, the opposite of not enough is self-empowerment, like I just mentioned, which is right here in your solar plex area, or the power of self, right? Staying present to what is. Staying present to what is in the moment, knowing that you have everything that you need right now. Like, everything that you have is enough right now. So in other words, if you guys are trying to create something new this year, know that whatever it is, you have everything right now that you need in this moment. So again, that's a really good strategy for healing from this "you're not good enough" story, is to get back into present moment. Because when our mind and our brain start getting off track and we start thinking about the future too much, or we're still in the past thinking about old stories and old beliefs, then we're not present. And we're not present to ourselves and to what we really can offer to ourselves in the moment, and what we can offer the world in the moment, what we can offer other people. So it's really important to stay present. Um, how do we stay present? So we stay present by meditation. I know that's sometimes maybe uncomfortable for people, but I encourage it because it calms your brain down. You can join a group of people that meditate. You can go to yoga. You can journal in the morning. There's a lot of things you can do to get present. But one of the good things is just to meditate and breathe. Like, always be breathing. Um, let's see. Okay, yeah, let's go to questions, or the question that came in. Becca, not too easy to realize, live in the moment. So much going on most of the time. Not too easy to realize living in the moment. Yeah, I agree, because you wake up in the morning and life begins, right? So, Becca, can you carve out some time when you get up in the morning to, like, I'm saying maybe 5-10 minutes of your time? So I'll share what I do, you guys. This is my morning routine. I literally have a pad of paper and a pen on the side of my bed. And if you sleep with somebody, like if you're married or you have a partner, then maybe put it on the floor next to your bed with a pen, or on your nightstand or something like that. I literally wake up in the morning, I brush my teeth, I come back to bed, and I journal for 5-10 minutes. I've talked about this on several shows. It's basically from The Artist's Way. It's a book, The Artist's Way, and she calls it morning pages, where you write 3 pages unedited. Okay? So even if you write, "I don't know what to talk about right now," or "I don't know what to say," you can continue your writing like that. Like, continue just free flowing writing. And also, with that said, I have a free journal guide on my website at jennalobos.com, that if you guys don't know, like, if you need some support to help you start journaling, I have prompts that are free. You can go download them on my website at jennalobos.com. They're free prompts. You can get them, and I'm asking pertinent questions about life, and that may open up some things in you that you want to explore this year to help you reach your goals. So I think that might help you, Becca, to calm your mind down. It's the first thing in the morning. It kind of sets the tone for your day. So also, there are breathing techniques that can remind you to stay in the moment, that I teach a lot. Again, you could check out my website, jennalobos.com. But also, maybe like some fun, creative thing that you can do to help you to stay in the moment is get like a fun colored bracelet or something. Like maybe like a pink or red, like roped little bracelet, and put that on your wrist. And every time maybe you feel some anxiety pour through you, or you start getting anxious thoughts, maybe like have that on your wrist to remind yourself to come back to present time. So it's just a creative thing that I literally just thought of in the moment, to like just kind of bring yourself back, because I get it. Life is busy and we forget. We forget to even breathe sometimes, right? Like, we just forget. We have so many obligations, children, husbands, life, bills, jobs, whatever it is. So you guys always have to just come back to breathing. Another thing is end your day. Maybe end your day with some nice stretching and yoga and come back to center. Just find a way that you love to come back to center. So I hope that helps you, Becca. It is so very true. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. Awesome. I'm glad. So let's see what else is on my list. I wanted to share some other things with you guys. Oh, okay. So let me take a drink of water. Speaking of not breathing, I'm just going to take a little drink of water here. I make my warm water every morning. Sometimes I put lemon in it, but I drink this all day. Thank you. So I wanted to also address, because somebody asked me on Facebook this question. So I told this person that I would address this on this week's show. And they asked, what is our why? What is our why? And it's interesting because like I said, I'm deep into spirituality, you guys. I work with mentors weekly because it helps me stay grounded. It helps me stay focused. And I don't talk to a lot of people. So it's just easy for me to it's kind of like a therapy session, but it's different work. It's energy work. So it gets to the root of things, and it's based in a lot of unconditionality. It's based in a lot of unconditional love. And it reminds me of who I really am at the core. And so I do this work all the time. And so last year, one of my mentors, she was asking me, like, what's your why? Like, really define what your why is, Jenna. And I feel like I've had like an aha moment, like early this year, or maybe in December it came through. Like, I think it goes back to my whole like relationship history with men. Like, not that I've messed around, you guys. I don't want to give that thought to you guys at all. Actually, it's just been the opposite. I've been in long-term relationships since I was 19. I think I've shared on a different show that I moved out with high school boyfriend, that I wasn't really proud of that, but I did. And I moved out of my house at 18. So I've just had these long-term relationships in my life, and they've all tried to suppress me in some way. I've picked the wrong people, and they've all tried to suppress my voice on some level, or me to be all of who I am. And obviously, I know that I've been a part of that. Again, it was an unconscious decision. I was looking for something outside of myself other than my true fulfillment. So, so my point is, with this question, what is our why? I have just realized that my why is me. My why is me. My why is to be able to express myself fully, to use my voice, to sing, to write my lyrics, to write my blogs, to write content for you guys, to really speak my truth. And so that is my why. And again, I think last year when my mentor asked me this question, I was looking for something monetarily. Like, I was looking for, well, it has to be, like a monetary thing. I have to make money. Like, that's my why. Like, or I was looking for something tangible as my why. And that's never going to work, in my opinion. It's not going to work. It's at least it's not going to work for me, because I need to come from a different place now. I need to come from a heartfelt, soulful conversation. And that's my why. If I'm able to inspire somebody, if I'm able to get them out of a rut, if I'm able to speak some honest honesty and truth and love into somebody that changes the direction of their life, that enhances the direction of their life, if I'm able to be impactful enough for somebody, I want to say women because I'm a woman, if I'm able to impact a woman's life, for them to get out of a toxic relationship, for them to pivot and be more loving to themselves, to look in the mirror and like who they see, to create something that they love, to actually maybe own their voice and speak their truth to a parent or a partner, I will feel so fulfilled. I'm so fulfilled if I'm able to do that. So, to this person that asked, what is our why? I want to say to them, dig deep, dig deep, dig deep, because it's in there. And I feel like everybody obviously wants different things in life, so everybody's why is different. Maybe you do have children. I don't have any kids. So if I had children, my why would be different. I would want to do maybe leave a legacy for my family, but that's not how it landed. That's not how it landed for me. So I hope that answers that question of what is our why. I would just say dig deep, maybe ask yourself what kind of legacy you want to leave, what's your messaging, and what feels good. Again, this is all really heady, right? Like, these questions are heady. And what I mean by that, it's all coming from our head. So I think that goes back to my message of journaling and getting into our heart. Because when we put the pen to the paper, we're not editing ourselves. We're not coming from our head and like what makes sense. And it doesn't look like numbers and linear thoughts. It's actually coming from deep inside, deep in our hearts. And so that's why I encourage journaling so much, you guys, because you're with yourself, you're with the pen and with your paper. It's almost like you have like this blank canvas and you're creating your life and you're not editing yourself. So you're allowing everything to flow on the paper. And what I really encourage is to allow every emotion to come on the paper so you can actually release it, right? Release it and get clear and get clarity. So don't ever be afraid to speak your truth to yourself. There was another exercise that when I was going through my inner child healing, my mentor had me do. She had me look in the mirror. It's called mirror work. She had me look in the mirror and talk to myself and talk to my little girl, my inner child. And that was like one of the hardest exercises because you're staring at yourself in the mirror. You can't lie to yourself. And it's like, it's so like, it seems so simple, but it's not. It's like, it was so hard at the time. Like I was like almost afraid to like see myself and see my my anger, because again, I was taught to suppress my emotions to please the big people, the parents. I was taught to suppress my emotions. So I was afraid of my anger. I was afraid of that. What's interesting though, now that I'm talking about it out loud, is that one thing I've never been afraid of is my passion. And so there's another thing that I've learned through my healing process is turn your fear into passion. Like, turn it into passion. If you have any fear about going for this year, about going for what you really want, turn that fear into passion. Take steps that you know to be true, that you need to take, because I feel like we always know what we need to do next in order to reach our goals, in order to be happier, in order to live a more peaceful life. It's funny, I just wrote this other story. I wrote this other blog about, I wrote this blog in December because, I've healed a lot of my anger and my anxiety, right? You guys, I've been doing this work for a long time. But something happened in December where I was triggered again. I had a coaching client that she called me and she was in dire straits and she needed to talk to me. And of course, I took the call. I actually made room for her. It was on a Saturday morning. And so I took the call from this coaching client and she didn't pay me. And so I reached out and basically, long story short, she was like giving me the runaround, right? She was giving me the runaround. She was going to pay me through Venmo. She was going to pay me through Venmo, and it never came through. And she kept telling me, I'm not receiving your Venmo request, which was BS. I kept sending her the Venmo request. And so this triggered me. I hadn't felt anger in a long time, but this triggered me because it really wasn't about the money. It was about the principle. It was about me giving her my time, her walking away from our session feeling better about herself, and then her not compensating me. It was just not right. It was unfair. And so this really triggered me. And what I ended up doing was I ended up calling my legal team, and they wrote her a letter. And by the time the letter was written, she had already paid me, which was great. But what did I do with like my angry emotions? I wrote a blog. So I wrote this blog in December about my emotions being my anger being triggered, and I wrote this blog about saying like, you know, how I get when I get angry is I get very laser focused and I have a lot of physical energy. And so what I wrote in my blog was, maybe a good upset is beneficial for me every once in a while, but I don't want to stay there, right? Because I would feel ungrounded and unstable. And so what I wrote in my blog was, it's safer to live in our heads than drop in our heart. And so that's what I want to tell you guys. It's safer to live up in our heads than drop in our heart and really feel. And so I don't even remember where I was going with this, but I know that obviously is a message to that you're not good enough, because all of these emotions are tied into healing and feeling whole and getting back to the truth of who we are, which is whole already, which is unconditional love already. So I don't have other questions. I think the last thing that I just really want to say in regards to feeling like you're good enough is just simply to remember to be sincere with yourself. I feel like if we can just get back to sincerity and just be sincere with your own self, that's kind of a simplified way to feel back to who you are, get back in your heart, get back in your body, and just be sincere. Just be loving. Let go of the stories that you were told as a kid. Let go of the stories of not being good enough. And remember that some of these stories can be unconscious. So just remember to check yourself, because sometimes these stories can be buried deep, and you got to get to the journal. You got to get it out, or you got to hire a coach. You got to hire a mentor. You got to talk. You got to get to the root of not feeling good enough for what you really want. And I think that one way is to just get sincere. Just be sincere with yourself. So yeah, if you guys don't have any other questions, I think that is a wrap for today. Happy New Year again. And until next time, love your body and love your life. Bye.